Hey, what's going on?
Hey girl, what's going on?
Going good. I'm
Man,
that.
another week. Another week. Man, I'm feeling really blessed this week and I'm tired. But before I get into that, I'm Laverne Badger
And I'm Natalie Hayden.
and we are exposed
Expose the
the podcast.
podcast. That sounds so in sync.
I know, right? If I would not be extra with my singing,
And
we
it's
probably could
okay.
do our own little singing intro, right?
We really could, but
Yeah.
we're still out there soliciting for those that have a lovely voice. We do appreciate
Yes. La
Laverne's.
la 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 la
Yeah, we
la.
appreciate all of that, but we're definitely taking
However, however,
However, we are open to those that that absolutely love and would love to grace us with that. But today we are super excited because we have one of my favorite women, one of my favorite peoples, and she is beyond a dopeness. She is a pioneer woman. But before we bring her on, Laverne, how was, besides you being tired, what's going on in your world,
well,
grand scheme of things?
the reason I was tired is, girl, the grandbabies was over this weekend. So you came over and you was able to experience the shenanigans of
Yes.
the fake foolery crying that my
Laverne don't feed her grandbabies when she have them, so don't send them to her. She will forget to feed
if you don't
them.
come with a bottle, if you don't come with a bottle, so I can throw some milk in there, and you need to be able to tell me, Nanny, I'm hungry. But no, it was it. But you can eat all the sugar and candy and cupcakes or whatever. And but yeah, but Mason gave you the
Oh
performance.
my
My
goodness.
baby Mason. Mason is 6 years old, and he was looking for his mama. She left to go get her feet done, and one of my other daughters came and picked up her kids. Diane came and picked up her kids, and Mason was like, "I'm like, why are you crying?" He was like, "I'm looking for my mama, and she ain't here." And then I was like, "So let's call her. Let's call her. See where your mama at." Girl, that we went FaceTime, and that performance he put on, and
Oh boy.
And then, do you remember the performance when he ran over to the couch and looked out the window
Oh, it was
when
a
she
full
showed up?
on. Oh, I mean, he squazzed tears out of his face. And when I say he squazzed them, I mean, he forced them. And it just reminds me of being childlike and how sometimes you really do have to milk it to get what you want.
To get what you want.
To
His
get
mama
what you
came,
want.
and she was not for the shits. She was just like, okay, fix your face. Like
Get over it.
she know her own kid. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing wrong with you. But I enjoyed them. Me and Richard kind of hung out with them and enjoyed the basement. So we're still renovating, but that was all fabulous. But yeah, now I'm all caught up on some nanny love. Now I'm looking forward to some sunshine in a
Hello,
couple
somebody.
weeks
Yes.
and some sand in my feet. So yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
And yours was a little bit mild, right?
Yeah, I want to
Your
say mine
weekend?
is like what did happen. Um, yeah, I mean, like between the virtual learning and going back to work and just really just trying to pivot literally in life, it's a huge adjustment, and I'm just really trying to make sure that my foundation is firm and relying on the village that I have. So I don't have any first stage actions going on here. Like this is real life for me.
Right.
so,
Right.
so
It's
it was
okay too.
exciting to see Mason do that because I was like, man, that is awesome to just not have any responsibilities,
Right.
like he's a child.
But I just want my mama. That's
I
it.
just want my
I
mama.
want my
And that's
mama when
the
I
only
want my
one
mama.
that you want.
Right.
So other than that, life is good. I can't complain about anything. I look forward to I have a birthday coming up in February, and
Woo-hoo.
it's going to be exciting. And it's February is like Black History Month. It's the shortest month. It's like all the Black love is happening. I feel like
Yes.
Black love is every month, but especially in February. So this episode is going to be in February. So we're excited about that. But yes, we have a special guest coming in with us. You know, guys, we are really preparing for our conference for July, not January, July of this year. And this conference is definitely women specific. We have a focus on making sure that she is 100%. She is, for one, better to herself. Then she can be much better in the community that she serves, in her home. She can be better as a wife. She can be better as a sister. So we want that woman to show up. And she may not look like you. She may be untraditional and traditional in some ways, but she is me in every aspect. So we found another pioneer woman that is you, me, I, us, all of that, to help us have this conversation and go, penetrate it a little bit deeper than the surface. So today we get to welcome our lovely friend Tonda Thompson to the table. So let me bring her in. It's me. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, ladies. I appreciate being on your show.
Absolutely.
Man, so let me tell you, I met Tonda through Natalie, and because she did a photo shoot for us. And so if you guys notice those lovely pictures with the yellow, those were by our girl Tonda Thompson. So we are just gonna give you the floor of a snapshot of what you do, and then we're just gonna talk about all of your greatness. But we want people to right away know what it is that makes Tonda Tonda. What is it that everybody needs to know about you?
Well, it's weird because I'm never really highlighted for the work that I do. I'm always behind the scenes, and I'm like the, whatever that show was, on, with Shondaland show, whatever the show. I'm not gonna say the name, but I'm the person behind the scenes making sure everything look good. So I'm a videographer, photographer. I'm a runway model, print model. I'm a woodworker. I am a person that's in politics. I'm working in your older person's office, making sure that their community events is good.
Yes.
So I'm all hands on. So I organize a walk run called the Harambe Walk Run. I'm the lead organizer for that. Vogue Dreams LLC is my business name for the photography, video, and modeling, consulting. And SHESlangswood is my woodworking business.
So let's talk about the modeling first.
Yes.
Did I hear a rumor that you were on Next Top Model?
I was.
Come up in
the beginning where like your picture go real fast towards the screen and you don't see that person no more.
You were there though. You were there.
In season 17.
You know how many women they swipe left on to get to you to even show up?
Listen, there's about 10 auditions. I'm not even lying. There's 10 auditions to get to before you make it on the show. And I made it up until that last audition to get on the show.
Wow.
You know why I didn't make it?
Why?
Man, they told me I was boring. Like they told me that my life was boring. I had 2 good parents. I didn't have no beef with my parents. The girl in front of me was like, my mom's a bee. I don't like this world and all this. And I came up there like, hey, my name is Tonda. I like ice cream with fries. They was like, oh, you're cute.
We don't need you.
Tyra's like, no, she don't have enough drama. So
you're not coming with the Chanel. You don't make good TV.
But I bet if they ask me now, they'd be like, oh yeah, bring this girl right now.
Bring her back. Yes.
You hadn't lived long enough yet. But that beautiful face is what drew them to you. Yeah. But we're going to also talk about how you're beautiful inside. So is that what led to the photography? So the modeling led to the photography, right?
Take us down that journey, because it is definitely a journey.
Y'all gonna make me do flips and hops and all that stuff.
Do all of that. We want all of that because it's an adventure, right?
Absolutely. I mean, on the plane, leaving LA, I lived in LA for a couple months. I was there on and off for 3 years, and I had in 2012. I said, you know what? In July of 2012, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go and just live there. You know, I don't care. I was working. I was a U-verse technician. I was installing TVs in people's homes. People don't know I did that too. Yes, I was in your home fixing your AT&T and cable.
Love it.
So, you know, I'm up here, you know, putting somebody's cable in. I'm like, I need to go. So I put in my 2 weeks. I gathered whatever money I had and I went to LA. And at the time, I had a boyfriend here back in Milwaukee, and you know, sometimes you get caught up.
Yes.
You know, but I was out there auditioning every day. Every day I went to Hollywood Boulevard, and it was so inspirational to go down there to see all these different people that, you know, that was celebrities. I walked in celebrities all the time. I hung out with Shamara Moore all the time. You know, like I hung out with these celebrities. I was around this culture. Like I was around people who drove Maseratis all the time, you know. So it was just like, damn, like
right.
I'm from Milwaukee, and I drive a Ford Fusion now. You know? so you know, I'm up here with these stars, and you know, I'm getting these opportunities to audition, but I wasn't getting the callbacks right away. So, you know, one day it was a crazy day. My cousin was laughing and joking with me, and she was like, "You should take a pregnancy test because I think you should." And I'm just like, "No, it's not. You know, I'm not pregnant." Sure enough, I took one, and I found out I was pregnant. Yes,
with perfect entry with Jelani. Let me get to the picture. That was perfect.
Yes, with child number 1. This is child number 2. So with child number 1, you know, I was in. Go watch TV, son. So I had, you know, decided I was like, look, I'm gonna give up because these people ain't calling me back. You know, me and Eva, I auditioned for Eva Marcel's agent, and we were on a phone talking basis where, you know, he wasn't giving me the answers I wanted. It wasn't instant, right? So, that day I found out I was pregnant. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going back to Milwaukee. And on the plane home, I wrote down what I wanted Vogue Dreams to be, which is my business now. You know, I wanted to be a modeling consulting business that taught young girls to follow their dreams no matter what. You know, I was on the plane like, I'm gonna teach these girls to not, give up on their dreams. But when I got home, I checked my messages, and guess who called me?
Who?
The agent. And I had to turn down that. I was about to be signed with a big modeling agency. I turned it down because I had already made up in my mind that I was going to come home and be a mom. I did not know how to turn that around, you know.
Right.
I'm meeting my guy off the plane. I'm just like, dude, I just heard from them. And I'm looking at him like, okay, I'm going to choose to be with you and, you know, to be a mom in Milwaukee. Because I feel like I didn't know how to balance that life of being
right.
And, you know, living in LA, having a baby in LA. You know, I got family that I love out in LA too, but I just couldn't see how I was going to do that. So I just gave up. And when we tell the story a little bit more, you know, it gets a little dark.
So you postponed it.
I postponed it.
So that's what we're going to say. Right. And so, right. And we all make decisions because we don't have a crystal ball to determine, well, if you could have probably did both of it. You had a supportive family. Maybe, you know, things could have worked out. But that's always hindsight 2020. So I always say that there's never a mistake. It was something that you were supposed to learn in that experience while you were in LA. Lord. Those gems that kind of came back. So during that, you decide, okay, I'm going to teach these young girls about how to follow their dreams, right?
Yes.
And how were you going to teach them? Through the art of photography?
So basically, when I was coming up in the modeling industry, there was a lot of weird stuff. Like you met a lot of weirdos. You met a lot of weird photographers. The ones that I was under was the good ones. Like I just so happened to got hooked up with the good ones. But there was a good and a bad side. You know, the reason why I got elevated is because I was with the good ones. You know, but you can go a different direction. And I wanted, you know, I have 4 younger sisters, and they were all starting to model at the same time too. So they got the height. I'm 5'9". My sister's 6'1", 6'2", and all of that.
Wow.
So, you know, I'm the oldest sister. I'm looking up to them, like, you know. But they had the look, the real look that I had to fight for. They had already what these agencies wanted. So I wanted them to go in the right directions without any mess. So I started. Yes, son. Thank you. So I started Vogue Dreams to say, okay, I'm gonna help these young girls. It was really geared for young girls to help them go in the right direction and to follow their dreams and not be, I call it walking with authority, like teaching them confidence through runway modeling.
Ooh, I like that.
That's good. That's
I
good.
like that. Walking with authority.
Walking with authority. I feel like once I went through the modeling industry, like anybody could tell me no, like, because I heard so many people tell me no, but the next person told me yes. Like I kept going, I kept persisting until somebody actually said, okay, we want you. So, that's why I figured I started this business to teach young girls this business. Like, okay, if somebody told you no, forget them, just keep moving, keep going and make sure you do it the right way with the right mindset and with the right people. You can take modeling beyond just looking pretty. You can, walk into a boardroom full of lawyers and snap on people and look like a model, walk out,
Right.
So that's how I teach, that's why I picked up the camera because I got high school girls, I was working in high schools. I worked for Boys and Girls Club when I came back home. And, they like, I got to go to college. So I'm like, okay, you can still go to college. You can still look like a model and walk into this college, dorm room and still, do what you got to do, So, son, go over there, watch TV.
The art of parenting.
He walked with authority. He walked with authority too. So, but basically, that's why I started Vogue Dreams. But the photography side came along and during a time where, I really needed to make money. And it's like, okay, you take pictures really well. So come shoot my wedding,
Right.
Come help me. I started branding other people outside the modeling industry. I started branding organizations, branding people, personal brands, and their businesses, like how I did for y'all, So it turned into much more than just taking pictures and helping young girls. It came to helping people find their self-worth and work with authority, walk with authority,
So so that's awesome. So how did you shift to say now I'm gonna play in the political world?
Thank you, Laverne, because that was my next one. I was like, she's definitely walking in authority in her community around politics. So please speak to that.
So I'm tiptoeing around the real story, and of course, that consists of my first son. As you see, I have one son here. My first son, Terrell, I came back home and I said, this is what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a model. I'm going to be a stay-at-home wife. I did that. And I got married. And about a month later, the baby, this boy got this stuff on recording me. A month later, I had the baby, and 17 hours after the baby's born, he passed away. So I'm gonna be quite honest, Black women deal with unhealthy maternal practices in the hospital, right? So what happened was that they allowed me to be in labor as long as they wanted to. And it was an experiment that went bad, basically. I was in labor for 41 hours. My amniotic fluid went out. They were like, we're going to put some amniotic fluid back in you to see what happened. It was so much mess. And because I was young, I did not have the knowledge to speak for myself or the demand, support, or I didn't have nobody advocating for me. It was my ex-husband was in the room. He's young and don't know what to say.
He don't know. Right.
He don't know. So he's like, they doing what they supposed to do. I'm like, no, they not. So I'm basically, I smile and I talk about it, but it was a horrific time. I was on the table dying. And it was me dying at first. It wasn't, my son was healthy when he was born.
Yeah.
Me that wasn't healthy because I caught an infection that was caused from the long delivery. And long after, when I started to get better, he caught an E. coli infection because they left meconium in his lungs.
Oh, wow.
That's how my son died. Like, he didn't die from actual delivery. He died from them not taking him out fast enough, and he swallowed meconium. Wow. So I got into the political arena because, I had a friend that had a baby that same week. Same thing happened to her baby. She lost her baby. He died from, the hospital's responsibility also. So I got pissed. Like, I was mad. I really became a Wakanda warrior for babies. And I got linked up. I was doing I got a divorce. This is in the same summer. You know, my ex was like, "This is too much. I don't want to be with you. I don't even want to think about the baby." Like he walked away. So
Mhm.
this happened in May. By August, I was, you know, forced out of my house. I was homeless. I didn't have nowhere to go. You know,
Right.
I could go to my parents' house, but I, you know, it was bureaucracies there where I didn't get along with certain people, so I couldn't just go into other people's homes like that. So I slept in my car most of the time. You know,
Wow.
um, and it was just a triumphant moment of my life where like I was in and out of, you know, mental facilities. Like I wanted to die, but I knew I didn't want to die. You know, bless your son.
Bless you.
So it was something that kept me alive. You know, and
Yeah.
all the while I was doing this, I was working at schools. I was teaching girls confidence still. You know, and I'll go home and go to my car and be like, do I want to die? Because I just lost all this. I lost everything that I knew that I was. Like I lost my modeling career. I lost my job. I lost my husband. I lost my child. So this is all happened in 2013, all in one summer. You know,
Wow.
Wow.
and I got linked up with Lena Taylor. I'm gonna say her name. I got linked up with Lena Taylor. I got linked up with Autumn Woman Cox. I was their photographer, and I got linked up with Mike McGee Jr. So I got linked up with these political leaders, and they just like started pouring all that they knew in me, and you know,
Aw.
and they literally took me under their wing, and they connected me with so many people at the state, at the city, and you know, that's how I got connected with United Way. I got connected with United Way through LaShondra Vernon, and
Mhm.
I became an employee there. I worked for Public Allies with them, and I became a community health ambassador, where I literally took that passion and that desire to eliminate what happened to me, so it don't happen to other families. Like I took
Right.
all of that passion and just went. I went in.
Because there is a national movement in regards to Black women and Black women's health giving birth,
During
like
pregnancy, yes.
during pregnancy. And so, like as a teen mom myself, I understand
Mhm.
how you would not have the words. You know, you are truly dependent on the nurses and the doctors to take care of you. And
Mhm.
I was 25 years old. I had no clue. Like at that time, there was an issue of infant mortality in the city of Milwaukee. It was all over the news. You know, I wasn't watching the news. I was 25 years old. I was a model. Didn't think about, you know, watching the news and hearing about infant mortality. Like Mayor Bear was on the news every day talking about infant mortality.
wow,
Wow.
And I wasn't listening to. But
right,
I didn't know, and I didn't know what to do when it happened to me. It was just like, okay, these people seriously gonna let my son die like this in front of my face, like, you know.
right, right,
And
Wow.
and that is the real fire behind like Harambe, the walk run, and people think that I'm just up there like, oh, my baby died. No, like my baby was like they killed my baby, you know, and
right,
Mhm.
right,
that's literally my passion. And like when I was in distress, those nurses were there laughing. Like they knew that I was sick. They knew that my baby was in distress. So
right.
Mm.
so I take that fire and energy. I got another one. But I take that fire and energy and just, you know, I poured it into Vogue Dreams. Like I was still working during that time, you know, I was still mentoring to young girls, like, you know, and I was still working with like these community leaders, like those names that I called out. Like they literally just took me under their wing, and I'm meeting all these people, up to the governor, you know.
Yeah.
And
So,
yeah,
isn't that weird how that works? That how
yeah,
we as women
yeah.
can
Mhm.
have experienced the most tragic moments in our life and still be in the most tragic moments of our life and still figure out how to push through to help somebody else. You literally was like, I'm still helping these girls and leaving and going in my sitting in my car
Yeah.
trying to
Mm.
talk myself out of killing myself. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow,
Yeah.
like for real, for real. I think that's important for people to hear. And when we talk about self-care and paying attention to our selves and our and friends, and
Mhm.
did your friends, were you still private in that moment? Were you expressing those things that were going on with you to family and friends?
I didn't.
You
I love
kept it all to yourself.
no, I didn't. I love my friends, but we broke up. We broke our friendship broke up. Like I broke up with my friends at that time because, my friend, my best friend, we back best friends now. That's how you know it's real. But at the time, she was dating my ex's brother, and when he decided to separate, she decided to stay with the brother. And I'm just like, you ain't.
Wow.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
love her. I love her. She's not with the brother no more. They not together. It's over. Thank God.
I'll get my friend back.
She got another family. I got my friend back. Do you know what's special? When I bought my house, the realtor that sold me the house was her boyfriend. And
Wow.
when he sold me the house, he's like, I know somebody that you know, and we haven't talked to each other in 5 years. He was like, I know somebody you know. He said, I know Miranda. I'm sorry, I said her name. I'm sorry. I know Miranda. Everybody know Miranda, my best friend. But he said, I know her. And it was like, I swear, like I cried because that's my best friend since the 3rd grade.
Hmm.
And, I missed her so much. That's the first time we ever like argued or been apart. Like we was like apart for 5 years.
So she didn't get to go through that with you.
She didn't, but after when we reconnected, we went through it. I'm still healing from all of that.
Yeah.
Of course.
She's been there. She's been my girl, and we hashed it out. I shouldn't have said her name out loud, but
that's okay. Y'all are good.
Everybody knows that's
friendships go through ups and downs,
right?
And I think the true soulmate friends are the ones that when you go through the down valleys, that you can find your way back.
Right. Yeah.
And realize that everything's not perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm glad y'all found y'all way back.
When she came back, we both, we understand who we are as individuals. Like at that time, we were both young and really didn't know. Like we came back as mature women, and she was able to help me get through it. And I reconnected with other friends too. Around that time, I was, a very well-known person at that time. Like I was a professional model. I did club promotions, a lot of people in my age range, they knew who I played basketball, so of course people knew me from that, so I was in the scene a lot. And when that happened, I was on an island by myself. And like my close family, like my brother and my mom was there. I have 7 siblings, but really only one of my brothers and my mom was like the only people that I was in connection with for a good 3 years.
Wow.
Can you you speak of the moment where you're on an island alone, and I really would like it if you can speak to that woman in this moment, because all of us, some of us, most of us, if you're on a journey, you're on some type of adventure, and sometimes you're alone. What would you advise that woman that's on that island alone to keep going? What's her motivation?
To be honest, I would say to stay there because, I had to stay in that place to really to get to know who I was and hear God's voice. Like, it was a point to where like, this is, all this happened from May of 2013 to like, I was going through it I'm still kind of going through it, but like September 2013, I remember, in my car, going to sit in my car. Like I used to go to like, I lived in the Northridge area, so I used to go sit in the Northridge parking lot, and I would sit in the car, and I would yell at God. Like I would raise the windows up, and I'd be like, God, what the hell? I would cuss God out. I'm gonna be honest. I'd be like, what the hell, God? Like, what the is going on? Like, why did you put me in this situation? I would scream at the top of my lungs, and it was a moment where God was like, I got you. Like, don't worry. And I heard that. Like that's the first time God ever spoke to me. Like to me, it's not through my mama, not through my daddy, not through my grandma. Like not my grandma saying God said it was God coming to me saying like, Tonda, I got you, and don't worry. And at the time I was still worrying, and I was still worrying about what people said. People were going around spreading rumors about me, saying I was crazy, and I was trying to kill people. And it wasn't even like that at all. It was just me. Like, dude, I just lost everything and I want to die with myself.
Right.
But in the same sense, like I got put in a different space with different people. like if I was around my friends, that all the people I knew, I wouldn't have been able to get around the older woman, the Malele Cox, the Lena Taylors, the LaShondra Vernons. Like I was around these people that elevated me to another level of leadership, you know,
Right.
in that moment, you know. And I love my friends, I love my family, but you know, I needed to be in that space of growth. Like I would never go back and redo. Of course, I would redo losing my child. That's the only thing that I would change, you know, if I could change it. But everything else, like I needed to go through that because I'm not the 25-year-old Tonda that went through that at that moment. Like I'm not the same girl, the woman I was when I was 30. You know, I'm 33 now. So
I think most women know that turning point
yeah,
for them, where you can specifically pinpoint when you truly became a woman.
oh yeah,
And truly realized who you were as a woman. And it's you know, it's a continual process. You're always going to learn things about yourself. But I believe that there's always that one time where you can say, oh yeah, I'm a woman right now, and I got to put my big girl panties on, and and there's specific moments that define you as a woman. And so yeah, I applaud you for for being able to be that transparent with us. Because I think
this is the first time I've been that transparent. This is the first time I've been really that transparent.
Wow. Well, we really appreciate that's like an honor and a privilege because, you know, Laverne, that's what we live by. That is what ExPOSED the podcast is through transparency where true healing happens.
Right.
And so that is a mission that we live by. That's a life a life mission of our own, because we would not be the women that we are today had we not, for one, been transparent and real to ourselves, and then in the work that we're doing to everyone else, because
somebody is going to listen to this, and really you are going to reach somebody who is in that space.
They're there.
Yeah. They're there, and they're going to hear your voice and hear how you got through that, and that it's going to be okay. It's going to be hard. It's still going to be hard, and you still dealing with it. But you were now blessed with a 4-year-old, active 4-year-old.
He popped up out of nowhere. I was like, where did this baby come from?
We all know where it come from, but you know, where did he come from?
I'm Virgin Tonda.
Virgin Tonda, right?
Virgin Tonda. I was a virgin.
The many hats that you wear. And so, you know, we stand here today, 33 years old. And can you imagine, you know, in your wildest dreams that you would be where you are today, even though, like you said, you're still healing, and we all are. You know, all of us have a story. Every woman has a story. However, you know, it's that prevailing and that persistence that allows you to switch hats. And let's talk about the hat that you got on today.
I know, man. This is
nice.
You know, I bought this hat in, I would say, 2018, and it was the start of the shifting in my atmosphere, and that's why I love this hat. Like it's
super cute.
I love when you wear that hat.
I don't even know where I got this hat from, but wherever I was like, oh yes, that one is it. But you know, we talk about transitions, and you know, in 2018, this is after, you know, a year after I had my son. My son was, you know, almost 2 years old at that time. So, you know, almost 2 years, almost 2 years old. Yeah. So when I went to, you always see me with the well black woman shirt, and that's from Black Women's Wellness Foundation up in Madison. My girls out there doing their thing. But
they are.
Yeah, so when I went to that conference, you know, this is my first time like out of my shell. You know, this is after when I worked for United Way, I was, you know, working for United Way. After I left United Way, I ran for office and I lost. So it's just like, damn, I lost this, you know, I ran for Alderwoman, I lost, you know.
I remember that. And now I want to say it takes a lot of courage for one. To put yourself out there, run, and just state what your vision and mission is, and to just, you know, like that is courage. So that was dope.
in this district is a lot of conservative people in this district, and I ran as a Black liberal. I'm standing for Black rights. I'm standing to eliminate racial disparities at birth outcomes, and I still got like 450 votes. So I'm like,
yes, that's a big A deal.
Yeah. So, but I ran against a former senator. I got love for her. She won. So she's a Black woman too. I got love for her too. So, but like after that, like I was in my shell for a minute, and when I went and bought this hat, I went to that conference. That was my first time like showing my face out, and for a long time, like I was doing the work. I still felt like, damn, I'm divorced. I'm not a model no more. Even after having a beautiful son like this, I still felt like I wasn't worthy. So when I put this hat on and went to that conference, it was like, oh, snaps, I had guys looking at me turning heads. I'm like, okay.
I'm worthy.
Like I still got it. And that was that. Before that I had locks. I don't know if you remember, I had locks, but I cut
I do, yes.
So when I strung myself down that hall at that conference, it was like, okay, like, and that was the turning of me getting back to, getting back to me. And it took a minute, and I really feel like it didn't wrap up until like a couple months ago. It took a while to transfer to that. Son, come on now.
Please, kid, please let us.
No scissors. He's trying to get the scissors. Take the pen. Okay. But it took, like, when people hear, like, we talking about SHESlangswood now. SHESlangswood is, I'm at my house, my son tearing up my furniture. So I'm like, I got this cheap furniture. I need to make something sturdy, But when I started doing the woodwork, it was like, okay, this is therapeutic. Like, this made me feel good,
Right.
I started building a console table. I built the end table to go with the coffee table that I was building. And, I had decided, okay, like, this is right at the pandemic height. And when the unrest started, me thinking like, dude, I'm supposed to be out there in these streets fighting with them,
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm just gonna go in my garage. I'm just gonna build a table. Like, I don't want to do nothing with this because I need to heal, and I needed to heal from. It was 7 years of working hardcore. Like, people don't know. Like, the reason why I tell you that this is my first time being transparent, because all of those years I was in a legal battle with the hospital.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak publicly about what was going on, and right before I went to trial, like it randomly got dismissed. I was like super like hurt about it, because we was in a legal battle for 6 years, and they randomly was like, we got to dismiss the case because I can't really tell why, but it was a bogus reason, and I was upset about that, So when the unrest happened, it was like, okay, I'm not fighting for nobody. I need to fight for me because
oh, that's a word right there, for real. For real.
We all out in these streets fighting in, Wauwatosa, and I'm like, okay, where I'm at now, I need to fight for this. Like, I need to fight for my heart, my mind, because I've been fighting for 7 years for racial disparities, like to reduce it, and nobody was hearing me before that.
Right.
So I felt like I needed to heal, and that's how SHESlangswood. I started posting what I was making, and then everybody's like, maybe one. So it turned into a frenzy of making everybody tables.
And that's awesome. I love that you said I needed to heal.
Yeah, that was like what she said, like when you feel like you became a woman, like I became a woman, and like I feel like, okay, it's time to move on, to get it right. It's time to, I got a son right here, he's 4, his name is Jelani. He's gonna be a lovely man one day, and I gotta make sure that I'm right to him,
Right. So you just gotta. We always say you gotta help take care of yourself first. Otherwise, nobody else is going to get the best of you.
I mean, this pandemic is perfect because when we talk about masking up, I mean, before you can put on a mask for anyone else, they're advising you to mask up yourself. And that makes me think about, how you said, because I struggled with that too during the unrest. I think I shared it with Laverne, that where I was like, I don't know my role in this. And maybe my role is to, sit back and make sure that I'm okay. dealing with this and continue to heal, because like you said, many of us are dealing with trauma and unhealed trauma or layers of trauma, and then this unrest is trauma, the pandemic is trauma. So I'm like combating a lot. At the same time, we have a voice. We have people that are looking to us for healing and transparency and all of that. So, I can really relate to that in a sense, where you're like, okay, I got to hear me. I got to hear what she's saying on the inside. And so, like I want to refer to the conference, why we thought you were so fitting and perfect for that. And SHESlangswood comes from you going in and turning to yourself and saying, I need to honor her first. Right.
And so,
sorry,
you making furniture. Let's just briefly talk about that, because
she's creating.
Was that self-taught? Did you teach? How do you go from America's Top Model? I'm just saying.
How?
To I'm making furniture now, and I'm making beautiful. You're making beautiful.
Guys, we are going to put her website. Yes. We're going to show some pictures. I mean, she's already scheduled to like sort of pimp out my house when I get one.
So did you teach yourself, or was that a skill you had?
Well, I went to Milwaukee Tech. So
oh yeah, there you go.
You have to take all of the different major trades at freshman and sophomore. So you had to take woodshop, you had to do welding, you had to do electricity, you had to do whatever it was. So I did all of those, but it was introductory. So it wasn't like full on. I was taught how to do woodwork.
Right.
But I had some of the skills learned from
the
basics of it, but going to like literally during the pandemic, when I decided, like, one of my best friends, Gigi, okay, go do it.
We gotta make an announcement.
Yes. One of my best friends, Gigi, she was like, she's she does internal design. So I said she does interior designs.
I knew what you meant.
So she posted a picture, and I'm like, this whole time I'm on different sites looking to, replace the table that my son broke. So, I'm like, Gigi can do this stuff, I can do this too, So I started looking up different YouTube channels of different women building stuff. And it was literally like, okay, they give you all of the specs. Like, all you got to do is just cut the wood and build it, So I literally just looked at a video, and then I started watching videos all night, and it became I got caught into it. I watched about 100 videos of how to build a table, and I learned from I call it YouTube University. I learned from YouTube University how to.
YouTube is definitely a university for sure.
It is.
Yeah. So I learned the basics basically from YouTube.
So that is. And we love that, because that's a male-dominated field. So how are people being received? How are people receiving you as a female woodmaker?
Well, it's evolved. So I started in April of 2020. We're in going into February 2021. And I didn't accept it myself at first. I was just like, I'm just making some stuff for the house, on my table. And it got, when I posted the first table, like within the second week, I already had built 10 other tables for other people.
Wow.
It was a table that somebody else had made. So I didn't really accept it until like now, like I'm starting to design my own tables and make my own designs. I'm like, okay, this look cute. Like, I'm gonna do this and give it to it. So it's evolved into something that I'm proud of. And when at first I was just doing custom orders, but now I'm like, I don't really want to do custom no more. I really want to make like my own design furniture and sell it, sell it for, So if people have received it, like my women are my most, like a lot of men don't like to buy from me. They're like, oh, you made that? Like, I can make it myself,
Right.
They'll come around.
Yeah, they come around. But a lot of the women are like, hey, like, that's dope. I want to buy that. And then but my life mission is teaching people how to be self-sufficient. So it's like, okay, if you like this, I can teach you how to make it. So I started doing, virtual classes teaching women how to build coffee tables. Like this.
Wow. That is awesome.
So I'm like, if you want to build it, you want to pay, not that much money for it, I can teach you how to build it. How about, you can go get the wood.
So do you have paid trainings out there?
Yes, I do on Eventbrite. Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's talk about that. So you teach people how to train, because I feel like I'm a little crafty.
Yes.
And that was one of those classes that I wish I had taken, but never had the opportunity to take it. So how much is the class? Where can people find that if they want to learn from you on how to do that?
Well, it was I think the first class I did was about 100, but what I did was I got all of the wood and I cut it for the people. I gave them everything that they needed, but now I'm doing about $60 classes for people just to do the class. Like, just I'll tell you what to go buy. You can cut it yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a lot trying to and I even missed a part on one of the tables. I'm like, dang, but we made it work. But now I'm like, okay, if we're gonna do this, I just tell you what to go buy, and if you got a saw, you cut it. But if you want me to give you the individual materials, you have to pay a little bit extra.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
But definitely, I have it to where you can get the materials yourself, or if you want me to go get it to you, if you locally, then I'll do it. But definitely, it was people out of state that started to ask or request to have a class. So I did have to make that other option of not, bringing the material to you, because I can't send stuff to Mississippi,
Right.
So that has evolved into something totally different than what you even expected yourself. Like, you were just trying to provide a need. You needed a table because your baby broke the table.
Yeah, my baby fat.
He's a boy, He's a boy.
Yep.
So we always ask, this has been a theme for most of our guests, and we like to make sure that our listeners can have some type of gauge if they haven't yet found their passion. How would you define knowing when you landed on your passion, and what do you advise one if they haven't found it yet?
Well, both of my businesses are kind of spare the moment, like, okay, like, this is what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna do it, but I found refuge in, both of them. Like, with Vogue Dreams, like, those young girls kept me alive. Like, during that time when I wanted to kill myself, but I was going to Job Corps. That's how I know Job Corps. I was in Job Corps every day looking at these kids like, Miss Tonda, Miss T. They was excited to see me. I'm just like, girl, you don't know what I just went through, but I love it. So to see their support of me and to see how I affected their lives, like, that kept me alive,
Right.
And with SHESlangswood, it kept me sustained during the pandemic when I couldn't, go take pictures at an event or, whatever. Like, it kept the lights on.
Right.
It also gave me peace during the time of, like, it was crazy. Like, I didn't know we was gonna find our next meal. I didn't know if somebody was gonna come burn down my house because they knew that I was a Black liberal. Like, I didn't know what was gonna go down.
Yeah.
So it was an unrest. It was a political unrest. I've been very vocal about my black liberation type of movement, and I'm in a conservative neighborhood, so I was afraid that somebody was gonna come and hurt me. So I'm frantic, like, okay, I'm gonna go build a table to calm my nerves, and that's what happened. I started building tables. And I got a passion for it. Like, if I don't smell wood in like a week, like, I go crazy now.
Wow.
It became me. I accept it now. I didn't accept it for a while. But I am a woodworker and I am a videographer, photographer now. So I'm still a model. I'm still a model, low-key.
And you're female.
Yes.
So it's breaking all barriers and myths and that it's a man's world in that field. Like, yes, I love that. I love that about you.
The ideal pioneer woman. So,
yes.
Tonda, we tip our hats to you. Thank you so much for joining Expose the Podcast, and hopefully our listeners were just as enthused as we were. So we plan to see you out there in every, because you are covering all lanes, and we really just appreciate the woman that you are choosing to be. That
And I
allows.
might, yes, I
Yes,
might have to
thank
take that class, right?
Yes, Laverne is gonna figure that out. I'm not good with dimensions. So yes.
I gotta we just me and my husband just bought a house and I have a wall actually right behind this camera that needs a table. It needs a table. It's an empty space.
Yeah, we did the coffee table. We were doing a dining room table, but I postponed it. So it's gonna happen like sometime next month. And then I'll
Okay.
do console tables next.
Okay, make sure you tag me in that when your next class comes. So
Thank you, Tonda. We're gonna put you behind stage and we'll check back in with you. Sit tight. Oh my goodness. Wasn't she amazing?
woo, that was amazing. Like that was some nuggets that I wasn't expecting, but I'm so glad that she was comfortable enough on this platform to share her story. I'm 100% sure that there's somebody who's going to listen to this and benefit from her being transparent in that way.
Absolutely. I really am. I'm sort of lost for words, and I'm okay with that. Tonda is amazing, and to hear her story in that light, and even in the shadows and the darkness, it just lets us know that all things are possible if should you believe. And
Yes.
even when you don't believe, like it's that mustard seed of faith that really can
Yes.
kick in and just really carry you the distance. So we really just want to let women know that we stand in the gap with them, even during some of the most turbulent times. We believe better for you if you can't see it or feel it or believe it right now. And if you can, some women are strong enough and have the courage to look out and help someone even in their trauma.
Yes.
So
And
that's just
sometimes when you're
powerful.
talking to God, you just got to yell at him sometimes,
Sometimes, you
Sometimes you
do.
just got to get and he doesn't get mad at it. That's just what she is not the only person that has cussed God out at some point, shape, form, or her faith was tested. And
Mhm.
but that's when he came through the clearest for her. Is
Yes.
when she had that one-on-one. Like, okay, I'm fighting for my life, not just other people fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my life. And so
Right.
I'm just so glad that she was able to come on and show us all of her greatness. And we will have all the information for you to join and take her class. Hire her as a photographer, videographer. She's amazing, patient, and I hope you guys enjoyed this segment just the way I did. So,
Yes, Tonda Thompson, guys, go follow her because I do. We do.
yes.
So I'm Natalie Hayden,
And I'm Laverne Badger.
and we are signing off.
All right, you guys.
Peace out.
See you next week.
Bye.